We're talking with Jeff Green here, and you're doing a show this year. Can you tell us about your show this year?
Yes, I think it's my best show ever.
Amazing.
And it's called All Guns Blazing. And it's about my thoughts on the future of the planet as per what my children will inherit. And so I talk about the various aspects that were never around when I was growing up. And there's a starring role from Silky, our cat, which is integral to the show. And I will do a bit of rapping, and I finish on a poem. It's a jamboree of comedy.
All Guns Blazing this year is quite different to the show you did last year, which was a personal account of how you went from, was it chemical engineering you were saying? Chemical engineering to stand-up and that transition in your career. And this one's completely different. It seems to be more encompassing of global issues.
It is because I've got to keep the audience on their toes. And you always fear being predictable, and you always fear being irrelevant. And so, especially someone of my age who's been doing comedy a long time, you can often slip from taking risks and taking chances, and I've been guilty of that. You know what rap stands for?
No.
Rhythm and poetry.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple, but when you say that, it's very disarming. It means it's not all about gangsters. It's not all about inner city issues. I'm doing it at the Forum Theatre. I've stepped up in terms of the size of the venue, and I'm only doing a limited season, so I'm only doing 13 nights. But it's in a much bigger venue. I'm excited about learning a new space because it's. I'd played the Swiss House for maybe 3 or 4 years in a row, and I was starting to get a little bit, this is all a bit too familiar.
Was there a different process of writing that you're used to with writing a show like this?
Yes, there was, because there wasn't a necessarily important narrative arc which I could always come back to, which when the show Leaping from the Bell Curve was about becoming a comedian from being a chemical engineer, I knew where I was going. I knew the points I had to make. This was you can talk about whatever you want. Well, that's great until you go, well, what do I want to talk about? It's actually for a performer, a much trickier piece of paper to fill with ideas when there's no parameters.